Like every high school drama out there, Riverdale is no stranger to a multitude of relationships, both from the hot-blooded teens and the adults on the show. So for today's episode, we'll be talking about the ranking of the best couples in Riverdale that we love. And it appears this series is also nearing its end according to a certain actor. Is there some truth behind this statement? All this and more are in today's video, so keep on watching. Let's dive into the best couples in Riverdale ranked. Let's all admit that sometimes we watch a show just to see some of our favorite ships' interactions in the series. It just goes to show how we're all hopeless romantics after all, and lucky for us, Riverdale has a multitude of ships in said area. That being said, here are our top 7 ships in Riverdale. First up, Hiram and Hermione Lodge. On the 7th spot, we have Veronica's parents, Hiram and Hermione Lodge, who are the epitome of a power couple. If you've read any of the Archie comics, it's pretty obvious how much of a daddy's girl Ronnie is. The show took creative liberty in depicting their relationship and storyline earlier in the series. But if there's any shortcomings to Hiram and Hermione's relationship, it's more of how they treat their marriage more as a business deal rather than sincerity. Next, Archie and Veronica. Archie and Veronica's relationship, or what we'd like to call Varchie, was one of the most talked about couples in the show, but we're not even surprised since the two are a canon couple in the comics. Although he danced around a lot between her and Betty, we're not gonna lie about that. These two's romantic involvement took off from Cheryl's 7 Minutes in Heaven game. From there, a bit of a roller coaster ride to say the least. And there's no denying that they really do care for each other, not just as lovers but also as friends. One of the most memorable scenes of this ship is when Archie got cleared from the murder charged to him, yet he broke up with her Ron to keep him and all his loved ones safe from Hiram. The breakup, which happened over a phone call, became one of the most iconic and talked about scenes in the show, with how Archie delivered his line that he's not breaking up with her, not because he didn't love her. An emotional Ron on the other end declared that they were endgame, to which Archie also agreed. Now, Kevin and Fangs. Kevin Keller was one of the later characters that debuted in the Archie comics, but since the pilot episode, Kevin has appeared in the show, though more of a side character. His relationship with Fangs may have a creepy origin since they only started getting close when they both worked in the farm. Then the two gave it another try, which made all their efforts worth it. It's also hinted that the two were still together since it's been depicted that they were living together during the 7-year time skip. Their everyday lives are what kept fans hooked on their relationship, seeing how they're both affectionate in the smallest of things. Interestingly enough, another side ship we like that involves Kevin is him and Moose Mason. Although their involvement started as a secret hookup, it's nice to see the two fall slowly towards each other. They were the perfect recipe for the closet jock and the resident outspoken gay kid trope, which was pretty popular. Unfortunately, their ship didn't last long since Moose had to go. Up next, Alice and FP. Who would have thought that FP and Alice Cooper's unlikely pairing will become one of the top favorites in the show? We sure didn't, but these two's chemistry is through the roof. Sure, we could owe it to the fact that they shared a serpent past, not to mention both of them also have their own spouses, but they make one hell of an interesting couple. The only downside here is that their kids are also hooking up, which is pretty much cringeworthy. Next, Reggie and Veronica. Although Veronica has declared that she and Archie are endgame, we can't help but root for Reggie and Veronica's love team too. Many even claim that Reggie is a better fit for Veronica than Archie ever since they share more traits compared to our resident redhead. This tandem was especially highlighted when they dominated the night scene at Le Bon Nuit. Veronica has a knack for bringing out the good side of Reggie, where we see the man become a better version of himself, nicer and sweeter, especially to her. It's probably because of how many common traits and values they share that they're able to give one another the thing they need at the time, whether it be support, companionship, or camaraderie. Next, we have Cheryl and Tony. Cheryl Blossom is everything feisty and sassy in the show. She's already a powerful and independent woman by herself, but seeing another equally powerful woman by her side is a great dynamic. What's even better, Tony's also someone who's also got something to say and is full of snarky and witty remarks. Choni, as they came to be lovingly called by fans, deserves its spot as one of the top 2 best couples in this series, but we just wish we could see these two lovebirds be happy for a while. Next, of course, we have Betty and Jughead. Are we even surprised that today's list is championed by the resident girl next door and the social outcast of the group? We're pretty sure Betty and Jughead's relationship, which came to be commonly known as Bughead, is what got fans enamored with the show. Romance aside, we can't deny how they looked good working and solving cases together, which just shows that there's more to being a canon ship than being romantic partners, not to mention the fact that they became each other's anchors during the darkest times of their lives. Bonus, another ship that deserves an honorary mention, of course, is Betty and Archie's ship, or Barchie. Growing up as neighbors, it took a while for Archie to see her other than his sibling, so when the two finally shared their first kiss, it was a moment to remember. But still, we're team Bughead all the way. So is Riverdale ending soon? A certain actor hints this series may be ending soon, with season 6 currently underway and a lot of things taking place back when it first appeared in 2017. Is the show finally wrapping it up? The Riverdale community came abuzz with this news after the actress who portrayed Betty Cooper, Lily Reinhart, commented on an Instagram live that Riverdale might be ending. This IG live took place shortly after their most recent episode on November 30th, where the actress shared some of her thoughts. I don't know, we're hoping for a season 7, Reinhart shared before whispering to her live audience of 28,000, and then that will probably be the last one. But of course, we should take this information with a grain of salt since the CW hasn't officially confirmed that Riverdale's swan song will be its 7th season, nor is it greenlit for the production of the said season as well. CW's last announcement of show renewals happened back in February this year. Although the broadcasting company doesn't have a fixed schedule of when they make their announcements, the announcement they made earlier this year was a way for the production and filming crew to get ahead of their schedule because of the delayed production response due to the ongoing health crisis. But now that things have been progressively better, it's a possibility that filming will continue as planned. But another actor's statement in a different interview says otherwise. The lead actor in the series, KJ Apa, said a contrary statement from what Reinhart has to say. Although not directly quoted, this piece of information came from one of KJ Apa's interviews back in March 2020 with the LA Times when he was promoting his upcoming movie, I Still Believe. An excerpt from their report read, though he wouldn't get into the specifics of his contract, which he said is the same for all the show's leads, Apa said he'll be on Riverdale for the next 3 years. It's somewhat vague since it didn't clarify if these 3 years meant 2020 to 2022 or 3 seasons of Riverdale. Let's not forget the fact that the pandemic happened, so everything else got pushed back for a year. So there's still a chance that the main cast may still appear for the 7th season, but ultimately it's up to the CW to cancel or approve Riverdale for season 7, as well as Warner Brothers' option to proceed with producing more episodes of the show. But there are other factors that are working against Riverdale's renewal. One of these factors is the storyline. Now that they've graduated high school, it's hard to keep a tab on each of the characters' storylines, unlike how it was in Riverdale, where all of them are rooted in the same place. The show even introduced the 7-year time jump, hoping to keep the storyline. But if Riverdale did ever receive a green light from the upper management, we're curious to know what the plot will be and how it will play out. And with that, we're concluding today's episode about the best couples in Riverdale that we love. Who among the aforementioned is your ship? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button before you go, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.